welcome on the stage the reporter and anchor from CNBC, Hadley Gamble.
Ooh. Well, welcome back, everybody. I hope we've all had a very interesting morning speaking about what the outlook is for the global energy sector and, frankly, what we can expect not just in the next year, but for the decade as well. We do want to focus right now on one country that has, frankly, endured decades of conflict. They have significant work to be done in infrastructure, political and civil development as well. Lots of questions about what the future holds for Afghanistan today, given the fact that the United States is no longer potentially the reliable or unreliable partner that it's been in the past, and that country's political situation as well probably going to get a bit more dicey on down the pike. I want to introduce now our next speaker. He's Kamal Gawri. He's the Chief Financial Officer at Bayat Energy to talk about some of the opportunities in Afghanistan.
So imagine a 10-year-old girl in a small village in Afghanistan wanting to read at night, but there's no electricity.
That's okay.
So we'd be taking away her opportunity to learn, to grow, and to have a better future. So in my humble opinion, electricity should be a basic human right. Now, despite the human impact for electricity, and considering the current energy security situation of Afghanistan, as it imports over 80% of electricity from its neighbors, and despite all the funding that has gone in from donors to revive the historic natural gas and electricity production, yet we've seen very little results in the past 4 decades. So Bayat Group thought it was our social responsibility to produce electricity from the natural gas resources. So we restructured and redesigned our first gas to electricity project, and I'd like to share this innovation with you today. Afghanistan is now 40 megawatts stronger and richer than it was before, as we launched the first gas-to-power plant in over 4 decades on November 10th, 2019. Now, this model kickstarted the entire gas-to-electricity domestic industry. Not only did it kickstart the industry, but we believe this model can be replicated in many parts of the world. Now, let's take a step back for a minute. Why do power projects fail? Power projects fail because they're too large, they're too complex, they require a lot of civil works, sometimes years' worth of civil works. Since they require large amounts of civil works, it takes years to produce electrons, which means it takes years to generate revenues. Now, generally, PPAs are 20 years or longer. So it's difficult for young governments to understand the full implications and to commit to these long-term deals. So because of all these uncertainties, it is hard to build trusted business models. And because of all these reasons, they never reach financial close, and they never move forward. So we looked at all these issues in depth, and we de-risked our project in a major way, in every way possible. Now, the reason we were successful is because of the following 4 fundamental aspects, which I'll go through with you. Now, selection of the equipment. We selected a turbine called SGT A45. It could produce up to 44 megawatts of power, and it's mobile. Now, that's critical here. It's a modular design. It's got 3 trailers, which means 3 modules. One is the gas module, one is the electricity module, and one is the power control module. Now, it's mobile, and there's easy to transport, which means at the end of the PPA, if we wanted to move it somewhere else, or if we wanted to export it, we could easily do that. Easy mode of transportation. We could do it by road, we could do it by vessel, and we could use Antonovs doing airlift. Now, these turbines are pre-commissioned and pre-tested. What that means is there's very little civil works required. Furthermore, when they get to the site, you can produce electrons very quickly and start generating revenues. Now, timing was essential in this project because we needed to show the government of Afghanistan and the world that we could produce electricity in the shortest time span possible. In fact, we loaded the equipment in Houston at the Port of Houston, United States, in April 2019, and we were operational in November 2019. So in a matter of 7 months, we were operational, generating electricity and generating revenues. In fact, November and December invoices have already gone out. We've already received the funds for November, making it a sustainable model. The mobility allowed us to create revenue so quickly and make it sustainable. Now, number 2, innovative project financing structure. We used equity and vendor financing versus the traditional sources. Now, traditional sources would probably take 6 months to a year just to do the paperwork, and we'd probably never get it because it was the first unit ever and they needed to see historical data. Please note there is no donor funding in this project. Now, an LC was set up at an international reputable bank to backstop this project. In addition to the LC, we had 2 escrow accounts set up in country to make sure that the ongoing invoices were paid in a timely manner to guarantee those ongoing invoices. Now, what this all meant was we were paid in a timely manner. We were guaranteed our payments. In turn, we can guarantee our partners' payments in a timely manner. So these financial instruments allowed us the ability to do a financial close on this project, which is very critical on this project. Number 3, other aspects, other factors. The PPA was designed, or we pitched a 5-year PPA versus a 20-year PPA to the government. We felt comfortable. They felt comfortable. It was easy to get approvals. It kick-started the industry, which was critical. Next, the power plant was set up right next to the gas wells, avoiding long pipelines to be built, which cost time, money, and to secure it would be difficult. Furthermore, we get a cyclical life cycle for the gas supply, which was critical in this project. Logistics. We loaded this equipment in the Port of Houston, and we brought it to Dubai via vessel. And then we used 5 Antonovs from Dubai, airlifted it right into Mazar-e-Sharif, Afghanistan. Now, as you know, Afghanistan is a landlocked country, so we avoided all the logistical complications that could have happened through land route. So avoided all the complications, and even though it was the first unit ever to be transported in history, we did this in a transparent and smooth manner. insurance, we built relationships in the insurance markets. We understood them, their requirements. We procured all the policies that were required to satisfy Siemens and, of course, ourselves in any case of loss. Now, all of these factors de-risk the project further. Finally, number 4, strong, passionate team, dedicated. It was all about de-risking the project every step out of the way. We were agile, we could move fast, dissect the problem, de-risk it, solve it, and we worked very closely together and moved forward. We fell in love with the concept that this project would change many lives, it would impact many lives, and furthermore, this model could be used in many other parts of the world. Now, in conclusion, the entire project was about de-risking, de-risking, de-risking. We used a stepped approach where the government of Afghanistan, our insurers, our technical partners, and our financial guarantors could understand and work with. We proved to the government of Afghanistan that we could produce electricity from the natural gas reserves that it has using the latest technology in the shortest time possible. Now, we set the stage for future phases, and we're super excited. And we set the stage for international players to come in and invest in this sector. Now, with all the challenges, if we've done this in Afghanistan, we are certain that this model could be replicated in other emerging and frontier markets. Let's energize the world together. Thank you so much.
سيداتي